After Thrawn is freed from exile by Imperial soldiers, his tactical awareness soon attracts the attention of Emperor Palpatine. Thrawn quickly proves himself as invaluable to the Empire, and his ascent seems unstoppable. As Thrawn is promoted to Grand Admiral, his capabilities are tested like never before. He now has to prove that he can that he can use his keen awareness in a war against the rising rebel threat. For not only are innocent lives threatened, but so is the iron grip of the Empire over the galaxy. And Thrawn's own plans also come into jeopardy. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. Today's video is going to be quite similar to the one I put out last week, where I talked about a print spin-off of an existing franchise that originated outside of the print medium. And surprisingly, that's not the only commonality those those books have. It's also the fact that both books focus on a titular character as he ascends, or as he makes a name for himself. Namely, the book I'm going to be reviewing today is Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. Note that this is not the first book of the Thrawn trilogy, which was also written by Zahn, and which the book series I'm currently writing shares a name with. Oh well. Well, it's still a fitting title, and I'm not going to change it. Rather, it is the first book of a trilogy meant to introduce this character to the official Star Wars timeline. And given it even has the logos of the IP holders, I think it's fair to say that this book is as official as they come. And okay, to be perfectly honest, I didn't actually read the original, the original version that is written by Timothy Zahn. I actually read the German translation by Andreas Kasprak, or I assume that's how that name is spoken. Regardless, these, given my familiarity with both languages, I assume it is, I can safely say that the translation is fairly accurate. But anyway, such details aside, what can I actually say about the quality of the book? Well, my thoughts on the book in summary are: this book thinks of itself as just a little bit smarter than it actually is. It has all the makings of of an intriguing political and action thriller. However, there are certain parts where the pacing is a little off, where there are segments that are expanded upon when they should be snappy, and parts that are snappy that should actually be expanded upon. Nevertheless, it was still quite capable of holding my attention, even if not draw out my admiration, as I think the book originally intended. If you're on the lookout for a book featuring an anti-villain protagonist, or an anti, how do you say it? Anyway, if you're looking for that, it is quite likely that you will enjoy your experience with Thrawn, and maybe even the rest of the trilogy. I haven't really checked it out yet, so I can't really say. Anyway, with the summary out of the way, now that I've gotten the big picture out, it's time I delved into some specifics. The plot of this book is divided between two narrative threads. The first of these threads follows the titular character as he makes his way up the ranks of the Imperial Navy, which he does in order to secure an alliance between his people and the Galactic Empire. On the way, he finds himself being confronted by overzealous and domineering comrades in arms, as well as various smugglers and their operations, of whom a mysterious strategist known as Night Swan, whose name is translated as Shadow Swan in this book for some reason, proves to be particularly elusive. The second plot thread follows Arinda Price, the administrator of a mining operation, who finds herself, or of her family's mining business to be more precise, who finds herself in danger of losing her livelihood due to a change in imperial policy. So she decides to jump into the political sphere of the empire under the employ of her world senator, in order to make sure that the Price mine remains in Price hands. These two storylines occasionally intersect, with the most noteworthy of these occurring right at the climax of the book. Each of these threads has its own strengths and weaknesses. However, for my money, I actually think Rinda's works a little bit better, as Zahn seems to showcase just that, just a little bit more care and attention into presenting the elements involved and how they interact with each other. Thrawn's storyline, by contrast, has most of the pacing issues that I mentioned in the summary. With a lot of his a lot of the issues that he faces, as well as the solutions that he comes up with, not really receiving the level of care and attention that they are supposed to receive. So those scenes, instead of standing out for their for their relevance within the plot and for what it is that they say about their characters, really only stand out through the strength of Thrawn's quiet charisma. And now that I've approached characterization, I think it is fair to say that there is a short list of okay, maybe not a short list, but there are definitely some characters within this book that definitely command the reader's attention based on how their aura is presented, and perhaps a little bit more broadly, how these characters themselves are defined. Thrawn, perhaps not surprisingly, is quite high on the list, if not outright at the top of it. When you consider that a lot of this book is focused upon how he views and assesses situations strategically, and also the fact that each chapter opens with a segment from his journal. So in that sense, you get a pretty good understanding of who he is and what his thought processes are, how it is that he analyzes and processes various situations. That being said, as I've already alluded to, there are various other characters who also grab a reader's attention. Among them, established Star Wars characters, but I won't name too many names. When it comes to character development, however, it is safe to say that Eli Vanto, Thrawn's aide, and Arinda herself get the lion's share. And what is somewhat more interesting about their developments is that they somewhat parallel each other, as both of these character arcs are about their respective characters learning about and expanding upon their own intrinsic strengths. With Eli's being about how he improves his tactical awareness and how he is able to gain more confidence in operating outside of his comfort zone, and Arinda's being about becoming more ruthless and more focused. Both of them are interesting story arcs, and even if they follow the similar idea, seeing them unfold in different environments makes them interesting and captivating in their own rights. And speaking of environments, the world building of this book is actually quite well done. Fleshing out the various corners of the galaxy where these narrative threads take place, and giving its characters plenty of accessories to play around with in order to accomplish their goals. It is functional, primarily rather than whimsical. However, given the way that the titular character of this book views and assesses the world, I think that is a good choice to make. At least within at least when it comes to this book. I can't really comment on other books from the franchise because, well, I haven't really touched upon many of them, to be honest. Overall, while there are parts, moments, segments of this book that could benefit from more on-point presentation, I generally consider this book to hold up quite well as an adventure novel, as well as a political thriller that explores the mechanisms of the society it spotlights. My final rating for Thrawn is a 4 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own, Heir to the Empire franchise, The Next Generation and The Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. I also have a second channel where you can hear me talking about or presenting whatever crosses my mind. It could be gameplay, it could be social commentary, but most of the time it's narrative analyses of works outside of the print medium. If, however, you want to hear more about my thoughts on the print medium, then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of book reviews, writing advice, and miscellaneous connected topics. If none of that sounds interesting to you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it for me. So until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.